Can you imagine a car running without fuel? As of 2017, not many cars can run without fuel, right? Similarly, you must have noticed that after a regular interval of time, we need to charge our cell phones. That means even machines need energy to work. In a similar way, a human being also needs fuel to work or to survive. And how is this fuel obtained by us? Yes, it's in the form of food that we consume. Now let's talk about our favorite food. Maybe we can think of a pizza. If we are given a choice, we would eat it for all the meals in a day. Maybe we would love to have it the next day too. But on the third day, we would probably crave for some variety of food. Our body will demand something else or something more. Yes, that means our body is designed to consume a variety of food items. That is why we eat different kinds of food every day, isn't it? Our breakfast begins with healthy sprouts, bread and milk. And then many of us prefer having rice during lunch. And what goes into the dinner plate? Something light maybe, like soups and salads along with different kinds of vegetables. So much variety. All these examples indicate that our meals have various ingredients in it. These ingredients combine to form different kinds of dishes which we relish eating. For instance, rice grains are mixed with water and heated to form boiled rice. Now tell me, what all ingredients are mixed together to form a salad? That's right. Salad is a mixture of raw vegetables and yogurt. Now these were the ingredients that we talked about. Where do you think all these foods come from? For us, food comes from two sources, either from plants or from animals. Living beings like humans consume food from these two sources. Wait a second. Why did I say humans consume foods from these two sources? Do other organisms have a different diet? Don't all the animals eat both plants and other animals? And what about plants themselves? Well, let us find out how plants gain the necessary energy to perform their activities. For that, you will have to watch our next video. Previous video with a few questions. Let me recall them for you. Do other organisms have a different diet? Don't all the animals eat both plants and other animals? And what about plants themselves? Tell me one thing. Have you ever seen plants eating food? Of course not. This is because green plants are capable of producing their own food. Such organisms are called autotrophs. That means autotrophic organisms are those which can prepare their own food. Now, what do we mean by prepare their own food? Let me explain. Have you come across the term photosynthesis? Yes, it's the process in which plants use sunlight, water and carbon dioxide and carry out several chemical reactions. This produces sugar molecules inside the plant body. This process may not be visible to us from outside, but it happens in the small factories that are present in the green leaves of the plants. So, is it the process of photosynthesis that makes the plant an autotroph? Yes, absolutely. We have been talking about plants for so long. Now, can you tell me about animals? Can animals prepare their own food too inside their body just like plants? Animals, unfortunately, cannot make their own food. Instead, they rely on other organisms as their food source. Such organisms are called as heterotrophs. So can we say that all the organisms which cannot prepare their own food and are dependent on others for it are heterotrophic organisms? Yes, that simply means all plants are autotrophic while animals are heterotrophic, right? Maybe not. We have come across plants like the Venus flytrap. These plants can perform photosynthesis and can also prey on insects. That is why these are called insectivorous plants. This means they also depend upon other creatures for their food, right? That's right. So don't you think even these will be included in the list of heterotrophs as well? Yes, that's right. Did you know that there are different kinds of heterotrophs? We will see that in the next lesson. Autotrophs are organisms that can prepare their own food, and heterotrophs are organisms that depend on others for their food. Now let us talk about the heterotrophs in further detail. In the animal kingdom, we find a vast variety in the diet of the different organisms. For example, several animals, right from a little rabbit to the huge elephant, always feed on only plants. They never eat any other animal. Such animals are called as herbivorous animals. Animals such as cows, goats, sheep and horses can be included in this type, which exclusively consumes plants. Now can you guess the next category? Yes, it will be the animals that consume only the flesh of other animals. These are called the carnivorous organisms. We know a lot of animals from this category, right? Can you name a few animals in this list? Yes, tigers, crocodiles, and then we have birds like eagles. And in the case of marine animals, we have the sharks and whales that are carnivorous in nature. Now tell me, in which category do we consume both plants and animals? That's the reason why we are called omnivores. Are there any other animals also in this category? Yes, animals like bears, monkeys, and even birds like crows belong to this type. Is there any other type? Have you come across the term scavengers? These are animals which feed on dead remains of other animals. You must have seen vultures and hyenas around dead bodies of animals. Yes, that's because these belong to the category of scavengers. And we cannot conclude the video without mentioning another category of organisms that help us maintain a balance in the nature. I am referring to a category called decomposers. As the name suggests, they help in carrying out the decomposition reaction. And what is this, by the way? Well, when organisms die, their remains are disintegrated into smaller and smaller fragments by the decomposers. A few of the decomposers include certain bacteria and fungi. At the end, the complete body is decomposed into the soil. That is how the nutrients and minerals are recycled in nature. Now that was about the various types of organisms classified based on their food habit. In the next lesson, let us learn more about the food consumed by humans. In the previous lesson, we have learnt the various types of organisms. Can you name the two major types for me? Yes, they are autotrophs and heterotrophs. Autotrophs are those which can prepare their own food. On the other hand, heterotrophs are those which depend upon other organisms for their food. Now in this video, let us talk about the food consumed by humans. Can you tell me which category the humans belong to? Yes, we are heterotrophic organisms as we depend on other plants and animals for our food. Tell me one thing, when we say that humans consume plants, which part of the plant do we actually refer to? You will be surprised to know that different parts of a plant's body are used as different food items. The plant parts which can be eaten are called edible parts. So can you list a few edible parts of the plants that we consume? Let's begin with the seeds first. Can you tell me one example where we consume seeds of a plant? Yes. We all love to have the hot and refreshing coffee, don't we? And this comes from the beans or seeds of the coffee plant. Similarly, the tasty chocolates which we all are fond of also come from cocoa seeds. Coffee reminds us of the other famous beverage, that is tea. So what part of the tea plant do we consume when we are having tea? Yes, it's the leaves. Now tell me, do we consume plant flowers as well? That's right. We all consume cauliflower, which in true sense is a flower. Interesting, right? Can you guess which part of the plant body you eat when you eat a clove? You'll be surprised to know that it's also a flower. In a similar manner, other plant parts are also consumed by us. Now tell me, what do you think a cabbage is? Which part of it do we actually consume? It is the bud which we eat. Now let's talk about the stems. Can you list a few stems that we consume? The most common of all is sugarcane. Isn't it yum? Yes, it is. Have we missed out any edible plant part? Yes, how can we forget the roots? Radish and carrots are some of the roots which we eat. This is how we consume different parts of various plants. Can you give me an example of a plant which has many edible parts? The simplest example is that of a banana plant. If I ask you, which part of the banana plant do we consume? You may say it's the fruit, but you'll be surprised to know that even banana leaf is used in some parts of the world for cooking. It adds flavor and aroma to the food. Also, raw banana, the flower and the stem are used as vegetables in many parts of the globe. So we have seen how different parts of the plants are useful to us. Now let us deviate to animals which are equally important to us. Can you name a few animals which give us various food products or are themselves consumed as food by us? We get meat from the hen, goat, etc. Some of us are fond of fish, aren't we? Some animal products like eggs and milk are quite healthy for us. Even milk products such as butter, ghee, cheese and yogurt find importance in our regular diet. Now we know why humans are called omnivores. It's because they consume various plants and animals as a part of their diet to gain the necessary nutrients. These nutrients help fuel our bodies and we can carry out the necessary activities.